Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome into the News 10 Plus Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Gattoni with Colton Cichoracki.
It's been a minute since I've been over here.
It has. We're happy to have you back.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about it. I don't remember the amount of days that I've worked my normal shift recently. Don't know when. It's been at least 3 weeks.
But now you're back to it.
Now we're here for one day and then a different shift tomorrow. But it's all right. We're good. We're good. Yeah, weather-wise, though, it's been a great stretch of weather. I've been loving this cool weather, opening up the windows. I went for a long walk yesterday. So nice.
And with the low humidity, you're not like suffocating in the air.
Right. It's not like you walk outside and just sweat. Right. So we've been really lucky, if you want to look at it that way, of seeing this nice weather. But, you know, I asked on my Facebook page a couple days ago if people were liking this fall feel. Some people said no, because they want more summer.
Right.
I can tell you, for those people, we do have good news for them, because we will be seeing the return of some warmer weather very soon within the next couple of days. But I want to start off by showing you this. Now, ignore Mason, 66. That's not right. That was not the low temperature in Mason. I can tell you that much. Little issue there. But everyone... It sticks out so bad.
It does.
I wish I could just click it off. But
it's like all green too.
Yeah. But temperatures last night dropped down into the 30s and 40s. So 38 degrees was the low temperature in Ann Arbor. So that's normally a cooler spot, so I'm not that surprised. But a lot of us were in the 40s. It was chilly to start the day, but we are seeing a lot of sunshine out there, and we are warming up nicely. So we're up into the 70s in many communities right now. We have some of those puffy cumulus clouds, a really, really nice afternoon once again across the area. So I know school's back in session for a lot of people, maybe after school or after work today. Get outside, enjoy this beautiful weather, because it's really hard to beat. And you can see the current conditions. Look at that. What is my favorite saying? I always say that I like the days that I can come into work and tell people it's going to be sunny and 70 degrees outside.
And there you have it. And dry.
And dry. So there you go.
Yeah.
70 and sunny. So beautiful afternoon out there, and it will stay that way. So no rain is expected today or even over the next couple of days either. So you have plenty of time to enjoy. I know sunset's about 8:30 tonight. So plenty of time to get outside and enjoy this mild air and the beautiful conditions that are going to be setting up. Now, one thing I talked about today on News 10 today at 11, if you're watching, is kind of getting in a little bit into the meteorology of it. I don't really get into it too much, but it's interesting. I like to point this out when this happens. So there's something set up in the atmosphere right now that's called an omega blocking pattern. And the reason why it's called omega is because the jet stream, which is the white line, takes on the shape of the Greek letter omega. So that's where that comes from. So we get this by having a low pressure system on either side. So we have one off to our east, we have one all the way out to our west, kind of in the Seattle area. And so that's causing the jet stream to kind of go up in between that. And this is a blocking pattern, so this doesn't break down very easily. It does, but it takes some time normally. And what we're going to see with this, and why this matters for us, is because we're going to see this kind of move a little bit further to the east. That will get us into some of the warmer air, and then it's going to kind of lock in place for a while. So we're going to see several days of dry weather, and I can actually model this for you, and I can show you the upper level pattern here with one of our computer models. And just notice, watch the yellows and oranges kind of make its way close to us as those two low pressure systems kind of still sit in the same areas. So that's what I'm talking about the omega pattern. Shifts a little bit further to the east. That's going to get us into some of the warmer air by the weekend and into next week. So we're going to see a prolonged stretch of above normal temperatures for the first time in a while, because we have been seeing a relatively cool August so far, but we will get into some warmer air very soon, and likely that's going to come by the weekend. So I plotted out the high temperatures here over the next 7 days. Upper 70s for us on Thursday and Friday. Then as we get into the weekend, mid 80s, so 84, 85. Not terribly warm. That's not hot by any means, but it is warmer there where we've been. And then as we head into next week, we'll likely be into the upper 80s for daytime highs. So if you're looking for some summer heat, we do have some more. It is coming, and a lot of people still want to get the boats out or head to a lake or a pool or something like that. I think this weekend is definitely going to be one to do so. It's going to be fantastic out there this weekend, so hopefully you can get outside and enjoy some of this nice weather. Now, this will also be coming with some slightly higher humidity. I wouldn't say it's terribly high humidity, but it is going to be something that's a little bit more noticeable, but kind of almost just a summer feel is what it's going to feel like heading into the weekend and into next week as well. So we will be seeing a little bit more humidity around here, but overall, I really like the forecast, and I hope that you do too, because the weather is going to be cooperating in a big way over the next several days. Do want to show you satellite radar. Really not too much to show you. That low pressure system that I mentioned is off to our east. It's not going to bother us much, but we will be seeing some dry weather take over for the next several days, kind of a continuation of the dry weather that we've been seeing as of late. So I give a second. I think this model just hasn't loaded. I don't know if it's that completely rain-free over the next 5 days. However, we do not have many opportunities. There it goes, loads in there. We do not have much rain in the forecast at all. Maybe over the weekend we could see a stray shower. We'll keep an eye on a few things over the weekend, but I think for the most part it's dry. Next week, I would say, is when rain chances will return to the forecast. We're going to get some higher heat, some higher humidity in here. We could see a bubble-up shower or thunderstorm during that time. But it probably won't be until the end of next week that we see another system come in, and that would be kind of more of what's called synoptic rain, so that's coming from more of a system. That'll probably come in towards the end of next week as this weather pattern begins to break down and we see some changes. So I would say that most of next week is dry and warm. However, towards the end, Thursday into Friday, we could see some changes in terms of cooler weather and possibly even some rain chances that will also return to the forecast heading into next week. So this is what I want to leave you with, a look at that weekend forecast. What is it? It's the final weekend of August? Oh my goodness.
Yes, it is. Isn't that wild? Let's see here.
It is the final weekend of August. Almost.
Almost.
The 31st is next Saturday.
Yes.
Okay,
so it's the first or last full weekend.
Last full weekend, because, oh my gosh, a week from Sunday is when September starts.
We're going to say it again.
Hard to believe.
Hard to believe the year just keeps on going.
You know, summer is just chugging along here, not too much longer here. So that's just even more of the reason when we have this dry weather, the warm weather that's in the forecast this weekend. Not terribly hot, very comfortable to get outside. So mid-80s Saturday and Sunday. So I know Taylor has big plans of moving this weekend.
Which is it's
moving
kind
into a
of
new
warm.
apartment.
Last weekend would have been the weekend to do that, so you're
I
not
know,
sweating.
yeah.
I didn't choose the move-in day.
That's all right.
That's okay.
But yeah, so we're going to see some warm weather this weekend. So hopefully you can find a pool or a lake or something like that. Water temperatures are pretty warm as well, about as warm as we get. There's actually something kind of cool. I shared it on my Facebook page. Something called upwelling happened over in Lake Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Explain
the
that,
water
please.
temperatures fell really quickly because we had that persistent north wind. So that kind of causes waves, and that can cause colder water from down below to come up to the surface and cool the water surface. And that happened, and we saw water temperatures in places like Muskegon and Grand Haven drop down to like 40 degrees.
Oh,
yeah, a significant drop in water temperature. It's really interesting that happened, but overall, I'm sure it's a lot better now. Overall, water temperatures on the Great Lakes and obviously all of the inland lakes are about peak, so about as warm as they get. So just more of the reason to head out to a beach this weekend.
Yes, make sure to do it, soak it up. I'll show you that weekend forecast one more time and take advantage, because when we stretch into next weekend and the following week, we're just gonna have to monitor if we do stick around with those summer-like temperatures.
I know it. So our average high is holding on to 80, but it's not too much longer before it falls into the 70s. It's just crazy. And you know, I noticed it yesterday. I don't know if you've noticed this too. How shorter the days are feeling. So
it gets dark so quickly.
It gets dark very early. 8:30 is the sunset. So you know, at the latest time, the sunset is at 9:20 over the summer, so we're almost an hour earlier than that, which is...
Here, yesterday I was showing, and Chris actually pointed out you can do this on the app too, but I was showing here, this whole time called, I didn't know you could click here and it would show this. I didn't know that until recently. But yeah, you can look at that, and as you see, sunset 8:29, it's not even past 8:30 anymore.
How does that make you feel?
Not great. Slightly panicking over here.
Yeah, we're losing a good close to 3 minutes of daylight every day.
I don't like that statistic.
No, I know.
But it's the truth.
Well, and I really notice it too in the mornings too, because like when I get up for work, it's not quite bright, or at least as bright as it used to be, and it's tough.
It's harder to wake up.
This is in my opinion, this is the bad part of getting into fall and getting into obviously what comes after fall, is the days just getting so short because it's so nice. You just looked when daylight saving time ends, November 3rd. So
then we fall back an hour. So it will be brighter then in the morning, right? Right, fall back, right? And then it'll get darker. Hold on. This daylight saving time always throws puts my brain in a weird position. Hold on.
So it would be brighter earlier in the morning.
So it'd get even darker earlier.
It'd be getting darker earlier.
Yes.
Though. Yes. Tough days, but we still have a way. That's November 3rd's a ways away,
But enjoy it, because as we're noticing that it's getting darker earlier and earlier, you want to soak it up as much as possible, because when daylight saving time does come to an end, it's going to be even earlier by a whole hour that it gets dark.
Question.
Yes.
I don't think you know the answer to this.
Oh boy.
But have you seen?
You're putting me on the spot. What is this?
And it's so random.
Okay.
When does like pumpkin spice start at Starbucks? Has it already started?
Actually, do you know this? It's tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Yes. A few of our
I
managers.
knew it was coming up.
I do know that. Are you a pumpkin spice person?
I am a pumpkin spice. Not everything. I'm not like crazy, but like this time of year at Starbucks, not to give them a plug or anything, but the pumpkin cream cold brew is the best thing.
You were raving about it last year.
Well, because it's a cold pumpkin spice drink, so it's perfect for this time of year when it's still kind of warm out, and then you can switch over to like the traditional hot coffees when it gets a little bit colder.
Or if you're like me and you don't prefer drinking pumpkin spice things, but you like the smell of it, those candles. Oh. And you know, Samantha, one of our digital producers over there, was talking about the woodwick candles too.
Oh.
And how it gets more of that like the crispiness, you know, when it crackles, when it burns. Ooh, it just feels like fall, you know?
You know what's also a random thing that's happening this time of year too? I saw them at Meijer. I did not buy them, but I'm close to buying them. I don't know if anyone else thinks this or has the same belief as me.
Where are you going with this?
Oreo cookies. Okay. All right? So you have the traditional, you have all the other flavors that they have now, the double stuff, whatnot. The Halloween ones, the orange ones, are the best ones. Hands down. So they have the seasonal ones. Yeah. So they have the Halloween ones, the orange ones. Saw them for sale for the first time at Meijer just recently. I need to buy them because I love them. But the problem is I only buy them like once or twice a year because I will eat them all. And like, I don't know what it is about
It's your guilty pleasure.
My dad is the same way, so I feel a little bit better because my dad's the same way. But yeah, the Oreos, the Halloween version. It's so weird because there's nothing different about them. They're just orange, but they are better.
So the flavor is the same?
No, I think they're better. No, but I think they're the same cookie. No one is looking or paying attention to us in the newsroom, so no one can back me up. But
you're alone on this one.
I'm alone on this. See.
We have support.
We have someone helping me out here. Thank you.
Now we're gonna have to do a little test. We're gonna come and put blindfolds on you. We're gonna bring in regular Oreos,
I will do that.
Traditional.
If you want to do that on News 10 Plus, I will do that because I guarantee I will be able to tell the difference.
All right, fine. Stay with us here because I'm going to go out at some point, and maybe later this week or when we get a little bit closer to fall. Okay, we'll do that. That'll be fun.
It's like that. Is it a TikTok thing where it's like the different Cokes or Diet Cokes, I think?
Oh.
Have you seen that?
They have all sorts of trends.
Well,
I'm sure they have that going on.
Someone, and then you have to tell if it's a can of Diet Coke or a bottle of Diet Coke or a fountain, or where from, you know, where is this fountain drink from? Is it McDonald's or wherever?
Burger King, Taco Bell, one of those.
Guess which ones are which.
You know, when I was younger, and I ran cross country, they were so adamant about drinking milk, right, to replenish yourself. But we tried that with like whole milk, 2%, and we did different brands too, and then you had to like close your eyes and think. That was interesting.
Well, what kind of milk do you prefer?
2%. Sometimes whole milk, especially when I'm eating it with Oreos.
Oh, I love dipping the Oreo.
So good.
Okay.
Anyway, that's our tidbit on Oreos.
This is why I'm saying we should have a podcast, because we could fill an hour of time, no problem.
You just give us a one-word topic or anything, and we'll just ramble on and on about it.
I don't know what it is. It's something about the mid-afternoon, just,
Midweek, mid-afternoon.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, we will see you at Studio 10 and then first at 4.
Studio 10, yep, lots of fun planned, I believe, for Studio 10. And then, yeah, I'll be back at first at 4. Justin is in for Andy tonight, so he will have a look at the forecast in the 90 and all the late shows. And then that'll be me tomorrow, so.
All right, sounds good. Well, stay tuned. Studio 10 is coming up in just under 45 minutes. You can check out Colton and Studio 10. Thank you, Colton.
No problem.
We're going to show you where you can find more of Studio 10. This is their social media handle at WILX Studio 10 for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, Facebook. So make sure you go check that out. And today I was talking with Claudia. They are bringing on an author who has written a book, obviously, and sharing more into that. They're also going to have a live performance from a band, a local band. And what was the last thing? Oh, goodness. I forget. Oh, St. John's is holding a little Pride Festival event. So they're going to be sharing more on that coming up at 3 o'clock today. So make sure that you're tuning into Studio 10. And then let me show you where, I'll show you their YouTube page, because that's typically where I go to watch anything with Studio 10. Just a good little place. I think it's easier to find all of their videos, but to each their own. We're going to go to WILX Studio 10. There we go. And so you can see all of the recent videos. This was really cool. Rochelle got to meet a 10-year-old boy who is a CEO of a cookie company all the way in Detroit. Very impressive. So make sure you're checking that one out. A few others, of course, you can meet Stumpy, this little adorable cat, which they brought on for Take Me Home Tuesday yesterday. So cute. Oh, each time I want to bring home the animals, but you know, if you are ready to adopt an animal and have them as a pet, you're ready to take care of them financially, emotionally, you know, making sure all of their needs are taken care of, meet Stumpy. Maybe he's the one, or he, she, I'm going to have to see which one, but you take them home. And then you can go to their videos, just an easier way to find it, or their playlists. So if you want to follow along, like 2024 Christmas in July special, you see they have 5 videos that all relate to that topic. Make sure to go check that out. Or, you know, maybe you're having a little bit of a wacky Wednesday. You want to bring that energy back down and feel more zen. They've got 2 videos on how to get zen, and you can check those out. Or Motivation Monday. Even though it's Wednesday, if you need that boost of motivation, feel free to check that out as well. Again, WILX Studio 10 is their social media handle across all the different platforms, so make sure that you go check that out. I'm going to give you a live look outside before we turn it on over to what we have coming up during our 90 minutes of news, and starting with first at 4. I know that Chris Schultz is joining us from East Lansing. So Chris, we're going to give you the, oh wow. Oh, the sky cam is moving. I think our meteorologists are down there. Hold on. Oh goodness, we're going to take that off. That was kind of cool though. But you're seeing what you can look forward to in the weekend forecast one more time. Let me give it a second so they can bring it back to a position on the sky cam. It looks like they're zooming into Spartan Stadium right now. Let me change around the sky cam though so that you can check out what they have. Oh, going on. Oh, my bad. Did not mean to click that one. But here we go with Delta Township. Getting a look at those puffy clouds in the distance. You get the blue sky. So traffic looks like it's moving along just fine over in that direction. And we're going to take you to downtown Jackson, show you what's going on over there as well. All right, looking pretty good in Jackson as well. You get more of those big puffy clouds in the sky. And then lastly, I'll show you a live look at LCC. Because we're going to bring Riley Connell up here in just a second, but I want to preview what we have coming up on Mid-Michigan Matters today. We are going to be speaking with LCC's, so Lansing Community College's president, speaking about what you can expect for this upcoming school year. But that'll be a little tease because we're going to get to Riley first, and then we'll get to what we have coming up during our 90 minutes of news. All right, so give me just a second. Let me try to take another sky cam real quick just to give you more of those live looks across the area. We'll take a look at Mason because I know looking at the breeze out there, you can see the flag is in fact moving, that American flag, and the other flags right below it too. So if you are headed outside, remember those temperatures are in the 70s. You might want just a light jacket in case that breeze comes by. But otherwise, Colton was mentioning the beautiful blue and sunny skies, and I'm sure you're going to feel that warmth from the sun. So there you go. If you have any more questions on the forecast, Colton Cichoracki is coming up on Studio 10, first at 4, and you'll have Justin Bradford coming up for our 90 minutes of news in place of Andy Provenzano. But we have Riley staying alongside. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Enjoying our beautiful weather, as you just mentioned. Not too cold, not too hot. Kind of perfect out there.
That's right.
Yeah, I was out there bright and early this morning to talk with some of the folks from the Lansing School District. That was about 8 o'clock this morning. They gathered us all up. It was an early day. I typically don't set my alarm for quite that early in the morning, but I'm okay. I'm putting up with it on a Wednesday. We're halfway there, so not too much of a pressing issue. But.
All right, but yeah, Lansing School District has many students heading back to school.
Yes, first day of school, really exciting for not just the kids going back, but the families, the staff, everybody gets to be back together again. It's good old syllabus week. That first week is kind of, settling into your class, getting to know your teachers. So they were kicking off that first day of school earlier at a new building that they have actually in the Lansing School District, and I think we've got some footage of that here. We'll show you what that looks like. This is called the Newcomer Center, and this is basically a welcome hub for students and families who are coming in from outside the United States. So these are immigrating families, these are families seeking refuge, so these are families who are maybe coming from really intense circumstances overseas and settling into the mid-Michigan community for the first time, also joining the Lansing School District for the first time. So no kids in this building quite yet, but this is kind of the layout. This is really going to act as kind of a training center for those students so that they can learn some of the basic skills they need to be a Lansing school student before they end up, fully immersed in the classroom. It could probably be pretty overwhelming. If you've never been to the U.S. before and you're starting off a new school year and you're not quite sure, how, a U.S. school system looks, they're going to kind of help these kids take it step by step. So they're going to train to open their own lockers. If they've never done like a lock combination before.
They're tricky.
Oh yeah, they can be tricky. I struggled with that when I was in middle school. I think was the first time I had a combination lock. So even using your school ID or student ID, using some of the different computer systems that they use in class, like Google Classroom, Blackboard, things like that. So really the basics of what they need to know to get into the classroom, and lots of language assistance too, which was really surprising to me as well. They have kids coming from all other parts of the world with all different, home languages. And Lansing Schools has staff that are going to work with those students to help them, meet them where they're at with their English speaking, or completely speak to them in their home language and help them get adjusted.
That's a lot more welcoming for these students. And you talk about, they're teaching them these basic things needed heading into the classroom, but a lot of times those basic things that you need to know aren't that basic to learn, right? And coming from another country can be really challenging to grasp those ideas and adjust.
Absolutely, and I can't imagine being dropped into a setting where you don't know the language at all too. So this is really a program that is unique to mid-Michigan, according to the Lansing Schools officials. They say this is something that they haven't really seen before. Similar programs coming out of our Detroit area. You can imagine there are also a lot of immigrating families to the Detroit area too. It's one of our larger cities in Michigan. So kind of similar programs there, but they said they really haven't seen anything like this in mid-Michigan yet. So this is a brand new building, brand new center. They're going to officially launch, I think, do a ribbon cutting for this center, not too long off here. So in the future, you'll hear a little bit more about this spot, but this was really kind of their place that they wanted to kick off the school year with some of us members of the press, other members of the media who were there, and going over some of the policy changes that are coming up for the 2024-2025 school year too. So you can find out a little bit more about some of those policy changes coming up on News 10 at 5, and get a little bit more of an inside look at the Newcomer Center. But basically just a good getting back into the swing of things, what's changed for Lansing and what's new in our largest school district in mid-Michigan. So really kicking off the school year.
I think this is a great development for the school district, and again, really helping the students within this community and who are new to this community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it will be very interesting to see how it plays out. Even while I was there, I'm thinking of follow-up story ideas that we can take on over here. I just thought it was really interesting. I hadn't really seen anything like that, so it was great to get a little bit of an inside peek I think people will be eager to see what it's like when it's up and running. And, you know, of course, stay with News 10 for all of your back to school stories. We're going to have a lot more of those coming up from funding. I just did a story yesterday about school funding from the State Board of Education and from the state of Michigan, and some of the differences in funding that schools are facing this year. So to, you know, backpack giveaways and supply shopping, we've been covering it all. So you know, it's a brand new year with lots of brand new opportunities for coverage over at News 10. So
we've got you covered.
Yes, this is day one of that coverage. So make sure you stick with us.
All right. Well, we'll see you News 10 at 5:30. We're saying 5.
Yes.
Okay. News 10 at 5. But we'll have more coming up throughout our 90 minutes of news. But News 10 at 5 to check out the Newcomer Center.
Yeah, I always advocate for the whole 90 minutes.
Yes.
I encourage you to watch the whole 90 minutes. You know, start with News 10 at 5. But there's a lot more great local content at 5:30 and 6 too. So definitely stick around.
All right. We will see you then, Riley.
Yes. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you. And we're talking about, you know, the whole school year, and we're talking about students coming from different countries, and so that can be quite challenging. And so know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
There are resources out there. And Riley, can you speak on maybe the mental health that they would be able to receive here for those students? You know, it's challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this actually ties really well into the story that I did yesterday that I was just talking about, which is, you know, a little shift in the funding for student mental health and safety. There's a little bit of a gap in that funding right now, and that's across all districts. So you'll see a lot of schools bringing in more counselors, more on-site social workers. Those are resources that kids born and raised in mid-Michigan might be taking advantage of, or some of those students who are coming into the U.S. for the first time, a lot of those big adjustments. So there are certainly a lot of schools in the area who are taking advantage of some of those staff and trying to hang on to those staff too with those budget changes. But I know that there are programs out there, not just in the Lansing School District, but Grand Ledge, Michigan Center, down in Jackson County, Holt schools. I've talked with many superintendents who are talking about the importance that they're putting on student mental health this year. So perfect time to reference our You're Not Alone mental health series. Schools are included in that category as well too. Schools are a big part of, you know, dealing with mental health. There's such wide varieties of people in our schools, not just students, but the staff too.
They're building up
mental
our
health.
Absolutely. The ones who help grow our younger generations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's all full circle, taking care of the students, the staff, which includes teachers, you know, the principals, superintendents, bus drivers, volunteers, anything of the sort.
Absolutely.
Getting to have that. All right. Well, Riley, thank you so much for joining and sharing more into this too. News 10 at 5, you can catch Riley Connell with the Newcomer Center in the Lansing School District to, again, help those students coming from other countries get better adjusted to our community. All right. News 10 at 5. Again, make sure you're checking that out. But of course, we have more things coming up today on News 10, as we mentioned. So we want to share what else we have coming up. I know Lansing Community College back to school, and so we're bringing on the president. I'm going to show you that when I pull up the full screen here. There we go. So we are bringing on Steve Robinson, the president of LCC, or Lansing Community College, touching on a free college. So this has to do with Michigan Reconnect. You have to apply for this and enroll in classes no later than the fall 2024 semester. But Michigan Reconnect Tuition Assistance Program is open to Michiganders ages 21 and older, really helping those students who, you know, we talk about the financial strain this has on people's budgets, especially when we talk about increased prices across many different industries, and we're seeing, you know, at the grocery store even. And so how can we help ease those financial burdens on people? This is one of them, free college. So we'll be talking with the president, again, Steve Robinson, more on what you can expect heading into Lansing Community College for this upcoming school year and even the next. Also sharing what students can expect, that's new developments, new changes, new programs, anything of the sort. We're also going to be touching on that because they have so many great trade programs or trade schools, whether it's with construction or automotive, dealing with electric vehicles and getting the younger generation, and I guess I should say future generation, ready for the work industry and how they're able to adjust to what we're dealing with right now out in the work industry with the automotive industry and producing all of those electric vehicles. So again, sharing more on that today on First at 4 during Mid-Michigan Matters. Then coming up, News 10 at 5. The most dangerous animal on this earth is so small you don't even notice it until they bite. Over 1 million people worldwide die from mosquito-borne diseases every year. And according to the CDC, those mosquitoes can carry diseases like yellow fever and malaria. But there are some things that you can do to protect yourself. So we'll share those tips on how to dodge these pesky pests. That's coming up News 10 at 5. News 10 at 5:30. Thousands of kids across mid-Michigan are heading back to the classroom today and this week, and it means drivers will have to be more aware of their surroundings during their morning commute, especially when you have those students heading to and from the bus stop, I should say, in the morning, and then of course getting off in the afternoon. But really making sure you're looking both ways, checking your surroundings, and really being aware of what's going on around you, because those students, they can be really itty-bitty small children, or, they're more grown up. Either way, you want to be careful of what's on the road and nearby the road as well. And then coming up, News 10's Deanna Giles rode along with one Lansing police officer who says it's just a good time for a reminder on what to do when you see a school bus. I'll share more on that News 10 at 5:30. Then News 10 at 6, Ford has announced changes to its electric vehicle strategy, where the auto manufacturer is adjusting its lineup of all electric SUVs and replacing them with hybrid models. So we'll have more on how hybrids are gaining popularity in the U.S. That is coming up today on News 10 at 6. Make sure you're tuning in then. But we do have Mars Anderson and Tanaya Jordan on our little touch board behind me, and I'm going to share what they have coming up during our 90 minutes of news. So we're going to take this down. We're going to toss it over to Mars Anderson.
Hi, Taylor. Mars Anderson here in the Lansing Center here for the Champions for Kids Count in Michigan 2024 luncheon, talking about some of those positives and negatives to this year's report. I'll have more details and tell you a little bit more about what happened at today's event during News 10 at 5. For now, I'm going to send it back to you at the studio.
All right, thank you, Mars. Again, he is at the Lansing Center for a luncheon talking about Kids Count Day, sharing more into the statistics and what is being reported. And then we're going to move it on over to Tanaya Jordan. There we go, what she has coming up today on News 10 at 6.
Hi, Taylor. I'm here in McGuire Park in Lansing, where a lot of people come to ride their bikes. With Michigan reporting its 4th highest year for bike accidents, we're talking to the state police to see what they're doing to make sure everyone in Lansing is safe, bikes and drivers. I'll have that story coming up today on News 10 at 6. For now, back to you.
All right, thank you, Tanaya. Just like you want to be careful with all of those students going to and from the bus stop, talking about bus safety, Tanaya is also going to be sharing more on bike safety, or I said bus safety, there we go, and now bike safety, especially with drivers. So with the warm weather, especially that Colton was just sharing with you, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of runners, a lot of pedestrians outside, and even bikers who like to go on the road, right? And sometimes the sidewalk isn't enough, so you see a lot of those bikers who are going a little bit more at a fast, competitive pace or whatever they're doing. They're on the roadways too, and it's important to share the road, and again, making sure that you're being aware of your surroundings, because a car is a lot more dominant than a bike, so you just want to be careful with that. But she's going to share more on that coming up today on News 10 at 6. One more time, I'm going to give you a live look outside because Lansing School District is back in session, so we'll take a live look at downtown Lansing. And then I'll show you one more time a live look over Mason, just to show you what the breeze is looking like outside, because again, we kind of have those cooler fall-like temperatures. So I'm going to share what you need to know to, maybe grab a jacket, anything like that as you head out the door. But we're going to take a look at those flags one more time. Yep, a little breezy still in downtown Mason. So again, if you're heading outside, just be aware of all of that. If you're someone who gets cold easily, you probably want to grab a jacket. But other than that, it's feeling pretty nice outside, again, with that sunshine. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of this upcoming weekend when we get into the mid-80s with the sunshine. That is going to be one of your last feels of summer, so you want to soak it up. And I know a lot of students are back in session now, but hey, summer continues on. I know you want to get out of the classroom and enjoy that last bit, especially during welcome week before the school year really gets going. So maybe that can help you transition a little bit more into the school year there. But until then, that's what we have coming up today on News 10. Studio 10 gets started here in just over 20 minutes. Again, Colton Cichoracki has your first alert forecast on Studio 10 coming up at 3 o'clock today, and then on First at 4. Justin Bradford is filling in for Andy Provenzano later today during our 90 minutes of news, so you can catch your first alert forecast then. But have a great rest of your Wednesday, Mid-Michigan.